Hello, guys. Thank you so much for connecting to our collective calls. Today is Thursday, and we got two speakers today to share their pitch, answer the Q&As with the usual drill. And as always, my name is Ivan, and Malika is here as well. We are hosting today's meeting. So yeah, let's start with Greg with 4Star.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Thanks for that kind introduction. I haven't done this in 5 minutes before, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I can make it. I usually, the shortest I've done is 20. But I'm Greg Simon. I'm the CEO of 4Star. And 4Star is unique in that we are an AI-powered immersive entertainment streaming a virtual reality platform. It's a bit of a mouthful because there's not a lot of startups trying to accomplish all the things that we're doing with all the tools that we're doing. So if you have any recommendations on a new word that could represent all of that, I'd love to hear your suggestions. So we are at the core an entertainment streaming platform. We stream all forms of content, from music to 2D video, immersive formats, including 180, 360, volume cap, and fully interactive VR. That's the basic value proposition. On top of that, we've built a metaverse, and the metaverse is to supplement that in that we're just not another app for you to click and open. It's a virtual world. It has 40 plus scenes. We've been working on it for a little over 2.5 years. And we see the world going forward as incorporating different virtual worlds in with reality. So a mix of reality, augmented reality, and virtual reality, and sort of envision us to be the platform of something similar to Ready Player One, where you go in there, spend time with your friends. And in addition to that, you consume entertainment, whether that's films or games. Those layers are built. We're on the Meta Horizon store, so we're accessible to all 45 million Meta VR headsets, just a couple of clicks away. But where we really are excited is what we're doing now going forward with the AI layer. We've built the 4Star app with excess capacity, and that doesn't happen often. Usually a virtual world or metaverse or any game will max out all of the performance capacity in the app to improve the performance of the game. We've left a portion of that empty to add the AI tools we're working on now. And this is the really groundbreaking part that I want you to understand. We have our own in-house capability. My CTO is 10 plus years of experience in machine learning, deep learning, and neural networks. We've built AI capacity into our NPCs. It's available now. You go into 4Star, there's a greeter there named Alina that can answer all your questions about 4Star, and other NPCs as well. We've just deployed our agentic AI virtual celebrity, Genevieve, and she's also our brand ambassador. And she runs her own socials. She is agentic AI. And what Genevieve represents under the hood tasks for the lead agentic agent, and it allows her to do very complex tasks autonomously. The two goals that we've given her to achieve are to be a brand ambassador for 4Star, so engaging and bringing content producers and users back to our platform, and second is to develop her own career. She runs her own socials now. I'll provide a link for that, and you can engage with her already. Going forward, the key part is we're working on now with a major tech investor. We just had a major investment from a global tech company. I can't tell the name on this call, but I can tell it privately, to build the following two AI tools. One is taking any 2D content and rendering that into interactive 3D immersive formats. And so we're working on a demo that can explain what this means. Basically, if you take any 2D game, any 2D film that's been built to date, we will be able to render that with our tools into 360 format. And if the owner of the content so desires, we can gamify it by allowing the user of the content to mimic the actions of one of the players. So say if it's a fight scene, if you mimic the actions of one of the players from a POV perspective. But you don't have to do that. We can render anything into 180 POV and anything into 360 POV. The reason that's a big deal is because all of the film made to date and games made to date of 2D don't have to be redone. We can take that and we can make them all immersive formats and stay competitive with what the market will be used to, and that will give us a competitive advantage over any other potential entertainment streaming platform out there, in that we provide the whole spectrum of 2D to 3D and we can render 2D content into immersive 3D format. The last thing we're working on with that raise is nearly complete with the ability to do adaptive streaming for VolueCap. So people who know what that means are probably excited. If you don't know, VolueCap is a very realistic holographic type of VR recording. Infinite Studios is one of the major ones. Adaptive streaming is not possible with VolueCap because it's very memory intensive. Microsoft is the only one can do it, and they do it with proprietary formats. We're nearly at the point where we can do adaptive streaming for anybody that has VolueCap content. We're doing a raise. It's a $750,000 raise. $250 is taken by this tech partner. There's $500 left. It's on a $5 million valuation. It's our first capital raise we've bootstrapped to date. And that's the end.
Thank you so much, Greg, for the pitch. Now we move swiftly to the Q&A part. We already received a couple of questions, so let me read that. First, what's been the biggest challenge in making traditional 2D content feel natural in 360-degree interactive settings?
Well, the challenge is it's not fun. If you have 8K 3D, if you have 8K 2D content, it's automatically downgraded to 4K because of stereoscopic. So you lose resolution. It makes more sense to watch it on your television screen than to put on a MetaQuest and watch it on your television screen in your apartment in 4-star. But that's partly the drive for us a while back to decide why should we leave people with 2D content out of the future, which is undoubtedly immersive formats, no question. And that was the inspiration for us to spearhead and pioneer the building of these tools to take 2D content and render it into 3D for you. Because of the nature of VR being stereoscopic, you will lose resolution. So to maintain something like 8K, you'd have to have 16K for 2D. Now, there are a couple of use cases where it works. One is karaoke. We're onboarding a karaoke partner currently that has a library of 50,000 videos. And karaoke, the video is secondary to singing with your friends. So when we have their videos available, those will be 2D, but you can sing karaoke with your friends from your personal apartment or your personal spaceship. And I am a horrible singer, and I'm terrified to get on stage or in front of my friends and sing. But if I'm an avatar, I'm more likely to do it. So this partner of ours and us are excited to launch this capability. In that case, it's okay if it's 2D.
Okay, great. We've got a follow-up question as well. With VR still being a bit niche, how do you plan to make the experience accessible and exciting for mainstream users who may not be familiar with VR gaming yet?
Well, you might be surprised VR is not niche. There are 45 million MetaQuest headsets out there. It is a viable market, albeit that growth has been in the last year or two. We initiated building this immersive entertainment platform about 3 years ago, and that was my CTO looking at investments going into immersive media. What were they going into? Everyone anticipated the barrier to growth was the hardware interface. You don't want to walk around town with a big brick in front of your face. And that's likely why Mark Zuckerberg has put all of his chips into VR, particularly the MetaQuest headset. Once that becomes a low enough profile, it's going to be something you don't mind wearing around town. Looking at the industry trends that people I've spoken to that are involved with hardware development, that's less than 2 years away. So in less than 2 years, AR and VR will be a daily occurrence for people, and that market will grow from 45 million to billions in a matter of 3 to 6 months. We are positioned for that coming up.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you so much for answering this question. And yeah, while we're waiting, Greg, I was really curious to know who are your main competitors in this field?
Well, because we offer a broad news service, in particular, the main one that we want to get to is the rendering of any content into immersive format 3D. Nobody has that capability now. It doesn't exist. So I'm sure others are working on it as we are now. But in terms of offering for content creators, immersive experience rendering from 2D, it's not really there yet. But I would say the closest competitors we have would be in traditional 2D streaming. It would be something like Netflix or Amazon Video, YouTube. It's passive. There's no immersive. There is some immersiveness to it, but it's not really built for it. For immersive streaming, something like Steam would be a competitor, but it's not really built for the creator either. And so what's unique for us is we're built for the creator. We're a creator platform. Our monetization is superior superior to any other platform. It's super easy self-service for anybody that has a game or a film or a blog or whatever to set up a user account and upload their content completely self-serve and choose their monetization. So I'd say the biggest differentiator for us is we're built for the content owner and ease of use, as opposed to other platforms that have complex integration and poor payout ratios.
Okay, perfect. We received another one. Thank you so much for answering my question. Turning 2D films and games into immersive 3D environments sounds amazing. What's the most mind-blowing transformation you've seen so far from your users?
Well, if you haven't been into a virtual world lately, if your experience was 1 or 2 years ago, every reaction is just jaw-dropping about how immersive it truly feels. Particularly the resolution on the MetaQuest 3 is a dramatic improvement over the MetaQuest 2. So, we can talk about theoretically what it's like to be in a virtual world. And we do render some of our metaverse content into 2D to show the graphics. But once you get in there for the first time, it's really kind of shocking about how real it is to be in that virtual. And I love seeing that reaction. Like I recently was talking with an independent filmmaker who's looking to put his films up on our platform. And he said, wow, is VR a thing? And I said, come over here. And I put the headset on him and he just was speechless about how detailed and immersive it actually felt. So, that's the most enjoyable part so far, is seeing people transition for the first time into an AR, VR environment.
Okay, thank you so much. I think if we have no more questions, we can move on. Thank you so much, Greg, for your pitch. It's really interesting. Wishing you best of luck, man. All right, so moving on, we've got Noah representing a project called, Crypto Whales Club. That's right. So yeah, Noah, thank you so much for connecting. Go ahead.
Hello guys, let me introduce myself first. This is Noah here from Crypto Whales Club. Tatiana know me, and many people already joined here who knows me and know my platform. Actually, Crypto Whales Club is an educational and promotional platform. So basically, we provide AMS and calls, and we also provide investors. Basically, we have 50,000 followers on X and total 150k plus Telegram members, including group and channel. And also we have 63,000 Binance KYC verified followers on our Binance profile. Basically, we are specialist in the AMA session. Our AMA is very special, and we have some good marketing strategy which is able to help you to get investors. And our minimum investing ticket size is 50,000 to 400,000. So that's it about Crypto Whales Club.
Okay, that's it. I think we can move straight to the questions. Thank you so much, Noah. Guys, feel free to leave all your questions in the chat or raise your hand. Okay, so Noah, could you tell us, how your project is different from the competitors, from other projects? So what is your main
actually, Crypto Whales Club is not a project. It's a promotional platform. Actually, in this promotional field, there is a lot of promotional platforms. So let me explain how Crypto Whales Club is different from others promotional platform.
Yeah, please.
Basically, we provide, we take responsibility until end our job. We try to provide our best to our clients, and we provide refund policy. If any client do not satisfied by our services, then we will refund their fees. So that's why you can call Crypto Whales Club is one of the best platform for promotional field. Thank you.
Understandable. We got a question in the chat. What do you think makes Crypto Whales Club stand out from other marketing agencies in the crypto space? Is there a special sauce that you're cooking up?
So let me answer this question. Actually, I'm associated with so many promotional fields. I know how they are promote a project. I know their strategy. I always try to different some better. I always try to create some better. If you when you will work with us, I will show our marketing strategy, how we will work. Yeah, our marketing strategy one of the best, and I will share you in the DM.
Okay, thanks. We got a few questions as well in the chat. KOLs are such a big deal in crypto. How do you decide which influencers are the best fit for a project, and what's the secret to making these partnerships successful?
Basically, I like to select best project for check his background, and for success the partnership we have some terms like you have to provide your audit, you have to provide KYC verification for find a better project.
Thank you so much. I think we're now done with the questions. Thank you so much, Noah, for your pitch. Let's proceed with the third one. David, hi.
I am working with Orchestra Labs. We built the Symphony blockchain, and this is adaptable stablecoin infrastructure. We apply a few additional things on top of other systems that allow us to do a lot more than what they're capable of. With the team itself, we have 7 decades of combined experience, that is including the advisors who are brought on specifically to advise us in areas that we don't have experience in. That includes on successful exits and crypto-specific activities such as security and connections to other aspects. As you see here with Brian being an advisor from Lowell Labs and being integrated into the Cosmos Hub specifically, which is why I mentioned here a direct connection to Cosmos Hub. What we have here is a system that can be used for upgraded payment rails, which allows for a lot of room for stablecoins to grow. As it is with our yield-bearing aspect alone, we can access a $10 billion market, but we can use that, we can leverage that to access the larger stablecoin market, and from there, the income that we get from that, we can then use to expand into other areas of traditional monetary use, such as international remittances, global trade, and global bond markets, which are altogether much, much larger, heading into the hundreds of trillions as opposed to just the billions. Stablecoin market has a lot of room for where it can grow on that. Current stablecoins can't really address this. They've not changed. They're limiting and inflexible. They can't even meet demand, and we have literal examples for this that I can link you to if you'd like to see that. Non-USD demand is not being met, and it's overall limiting crypto adoption with this lack of flexibility. What we do is we are able to launch new stablecoins in days instead of months. We earn yield on every currency. We can exchange them for a tenth of the cost of leading traders, leading companies in those fields, such as Wise and PayPal, and we can pay on-chain fees within the gas. They're fully gas compatible, so you can pay those directly. You can have fully end-to-end experiences within U.S. dollars, Japanese yen, Mexican pesos, or any other currency that you would like. And the reason why we offer this is because U.S. dollars is only a $20 trillion market. If you look back, that stablecoin market, that is pretty much just U.S. dollars. So this being so small in comparison to what's available, if we just apply that same percent, we can 5x the market just right there. We can double it on our own, not having to compete with every other stablecoin provider, even if we just offer Chinese yuan. And that's only that. Adding in every other one and gold, we can 5x the entire market. It is incredible the amount of space that's not being addressed right now. On top of that, because we have yield bearing and gas compatibility within our stablecoin systems, we can do what others can't. Athena, a provider that a lot of people have been raving about, which is why so many people are entering the stablecoin space, they're not gas compatible. And USDC through Noble, they are gas compatible, but they're not yield bearing. We can do both of those things on top of being able to offer those other currencies. We can just do more. We have a fully adaptable system, which is why we can do more. This is due to our multi-pronged approach. We have a system that is able to back a reserve that allows us to mitigate other approaches, such as the delta neutral strategies approach that is used by other systems such as Athena. Now that approach has multiple risks associated with it, which involves loss of the underlying and other such things. We can back that up with our own reserves that allows us to mitigate those risks, so that way, even if those very rare risks are encountered, we can still ensure that every user gets the money that they're trying to pull out. And further, we also have other reserves that are planned that allows us to access micro regulations and other markets that other competitors such as Athena cannot. We are only targeting the 10% of what they're receiving, since we've not come to market yet, and they have. We're only targeting 10% of what they're receiving, which is still $2 million a day of net revenue. That's a very, very large amount, and we can easily surpass that. Even with just yield-bearing aspect, which a lot of people are very excited about, we can easily pass that. We're going to start with Cosmos DeFi, expand to the general Cosmos market, and keep going from there, expanding into different VMs and then banks and payment providers. And then we're going to grow into the global market, starting with crypto users, growing into fiat reserves, opening a neobank, and then accessing different economic conferences, which will allow us to access more traditional businesses and governments. Overall, we do have a decent bit of traction, but I see I'm running out of time, and so I can always answer that in questions. And we do have a good roadmap there that leads into those other areas that I mentioned. But overall, I do think that the point that I want to hit is that I do think that even at conservative estimates, it is a very large opportunity there.
Yeah, thank you so much, David, for the great pitch. We've already got some questions. Are you fiat stablecoins backed by same currency reserves? If so, what is the reserve ratio and who are the custodians?
The reserve ratio is 2-to-1 at minimum. They are not the same. They are not same currency, which is why we do have this. Plan here for the. It's a little bit further back, which is alignment to regulations. We do have that plan for later. This is why we're starting with crypto and moving on into that later. This gives us. This is a trade-off here. What that allows is for us to embrace Sharia compliancy, which allows us to access Middle East markets. What we can do with the other markets, though, the ones that align to regulations such as this, the ones that push regulations such as this, such as the micro regulations in Europe, what we can do though is we can create additional fiat reserves that specifically buy those bonds, because those regulations say that you have to buy bonds. We can have those specific aspects that buy those bonds for those markets that specifically match the euro or the other currency that is aligned to those specific markets. So that is something that we have planned for later, but we're starting with crypto because it's easier to target that smaller market, and then as we grow, go into those different regulations there and align to those. That's why we do have this as a plan of starting with crypto and then growing the fiat reserves before moving on to the others. If we do things such as opening a bank, we can have that bank aligned to those regulations, buy those bonds, hold them, make sure that the users are fully backed by the government bonds within those different areas, and we'll be fully compliant for every single one of those markets.
Thank you so much. Hope it answers the question. The next one, what's been the most unexpected challenge in building a stablecoin ecosystem that serves multiple currencies with such a low transaction cost?
The highest difficulty for others that I've not seen them tackle yet, which is the odd part here, is interchangeability. A lot of people put out stablecoins just thinking about here's all this money that can be made. They don't worry about interchangeability. But when you travel, you don't just use dollars. You use the currency of the country you're traveling to. Same with language. It is exactly the same as language. While it would be nice from an American perspective if everyone spoke English, not everyone speaks English. A lot of people all across the world speak English, but when you travel to another country, you use their language. Same with their currency. So with this, I don't know why they're not tackling interchangeability. It very likely has something to do with the bonds and having to move those around, and it's going to take a long time, and they don't want to build those systems because it's going to take a good bit of money to do so and a good bit of time. But we don't have to worry about that. We've already built it into the system in order to do that. It's automatic. It's automatically handled. We don't have to worry about it. There's no manual hands on it. You don't have to worry about founders running away with anything and like Tron. That was a whole thing with Tron people were worried about. You don't have to worry about founders running away with anything getting stopped, blocked by different regulations, blocked by sanctions, or anything along those lines. You don't have to worry about it. It's automatic. It's automatically handled, and it happens so much faster because of that. And because we've already built it, it's a challenge that's already solved. We don't have to build it in the same way they do. While I don't understand why they haven't tackled it since they've had years, it is very, very easy to handle if you just handle it at a value-based level.
Okay, thank you so much. The next one is pretty similar. What's your biggest obstacle at the moment?
The biggest obstacle is getting out onto the market. There are a lot of different places that have put out different stablecoins. Due to Athena coming out, you've had a lot of different, everyone saw Athena making a lot of money and they thought, I want to make that money too. So they just popped out one clone after another of various stablecoins. What that creates is a market that's very, very congested, but it is entirely congested within US dollars, as I mentioned previously. So while we can put out US dollars, and we are planning on putting out US dollars, we're also planning on putting out a few other currencies as well, just to start with, because that allows us to enter markets that no one else has touched, and that will take them months to get into and millions of dollars to get into. So we're planning on approaching from that perspective, but that will also be the most difficult aspect to contend with, given how many people just created clones and changed the name and then threw out a competitor for that.
Thanks. Another one, with all the noise in the stablecoin market, what's the one thing you think most people miss when they're evaluating the future of stablecoins? Sorry.
I think that the thing that people miss is that there is demand for more than just the US dollar. While I did put that over here, I also have a slide later on that addresses the same thing. You can, with all the other currencies, US dollar is not the end all be all for the world. You have a market that is 5 times larger if you for the global M3 if you exclude US dollars. So the overall global market is 6 times as large as what people are addressing right now. Again, that is this market here measured in hundreds of billions when the global bond and global trade markets are in the hundreds of trillions. That's 1,000 times larger than what people are looking at. That's what stablecoins can grow into when they make things a lot faster, a lot easier, a lot more transparent. They could grow into that if they just look past US dollars and align to what people are using instead of trying to force this thing on them. This is the same thing that people had to move to stablecoins for as opposed to just crypto. You don't have to just take my word for that. That is literally something that people are talking about. Now, BRICS isn't the only one. This has been talked about by every single economic bloc outside the G7. BRICS is just the most vocal, the one that's caught on the most. You have 2 different people here, Li Yuefeng, the Chinese finance minister, and then Oleg Barbanov, who is the Russian finance minister, who are saying the same thing. They want diverse reserves. They want to self-custody those reserves, and they want to make sure that they and they're saying that diversity is a challenge to the creation of a common currency, so they want to use local currencies. These are all things that we specifically can align to. There is no central body controlling our chain. There's nothing along those lines. You can diversify at the click of a button, and you hold everything that's in your wallet. There's no one else does. And this is a trend that's been going for multiple decades for people moving away from the US dollar and towards a more diverse set of currencies. But people still look at the US dollar as the end all be all of all trade, especially with the most recent years, that people should be thinking about that in a different way. With all of these different things that have happened in just the last 5 years, you have sanctions over different economies, multiple different economies that basically push them together, that created a different trade bloc. You have tariffs that have pushed further people over towards that same trade bloc, and you have this multi-decade trend that I'm highlighting here on screen, where it's been going from the early 2000s, and this is just as far as back as the data that I've decided to keep on here, otherwise it would be too small, that show that there has been a consistent decline of the G7 on the world stage and a consistent incline of BRICS. You even have gold rising on, like, this is recent news. This was just 2 days ago. You have gold rising on news that China's GDP has grown 5%. This is a very large trend that a lot of people are overlooking, and I don't know why they're overlooking it. It's in the news everywhere, but they're overlooking it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. The next one, I love the concept of yield-bearing stablecoins. Can you break down how that works in simple terms and how it benefits everyday users?
We have multiple areas that we can do that on because we have a multi-level system, but at the most base level, the way that happens is through staking. In the same way that people earn yield with staking Bitcoin and staking Ethereum, they would earn yield on this chain through that same manner. That applies to both stablecoins and native coins, since the stablecoins are treated exactly the same as the native coin. They're gas compatible and they're yield bearing in the same way that the native coin is. That is where that cold start problem comes from for the risks on the primary supply control side, which is why we also have a price control side, which is why I say that this is multi-level. With the supply control side, you have this circulating system that allows for this yield to come through, that allows for the reserve to be built and for the yield to come through on staking. But then on top of that, you also have delta neutral strategies that allow for money to be coming in from the growth that is sustained on that side. The reason why it needs an underlying is because of these other risks. But as shown by Athena and Circle, like, you have a lot of money that comes in from transaction costs, and you have a lot of money that comes in from the perpetuals, and those can supply the yield on their own. But to get around the risks, you need to have both.
Okay, thanks. And I guess the last question is, what is your position with USD1?
USD is one of those ones that is one of those lesser known ones. The primary ones are USDT and USDC. I don't have any position with those, and I don't have a position with USDE, Athena's stablecoin, either. I know of them, and I just use them because, and I just trade into them and use them when needed to pay for different business costs. But overall, if I was going to use one, it wouldn't be one of those. Specifically because USDT, they blacklist different users, and they do this according to different sanctions as proposed by the US. This is one reason why they can't be used by different groups such as BRICS. USDC, they failed with the crash of Silicon Valley Bank because they decided to hold all of their reserves in a single bank. Centralized providers have centralized problems, as I keep saying. Now, this is so I don't think either of them are trustworthy, especially when USDT USDT, as an example, has been consistently sued over multiple years for failure to disclose their reserves. With USDE, they're unproven. They've only been around for the bull cycle, and they've not acknowledged these risks that are mentioned here, which were acknowledged in the original article that they cite when they made their product. They've refused to acknowledge that. So they've been unproven. They've not shown themselves in a bear market, and so I wouldn't use them either. But I do use USDT and USDC when I'm paying for things. I just don't use things that I don't fully believe in.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, but I guess the question is about USD1, the new one that was announced recently, I guess. So there is no USD1.
Yeah, it would be one of those lesser known ones.
Yeah, by Trump. Yeah, that's one. I heard it was launched recently. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. If you want to pitch here next, just feel free to fill the form for participation, which I've put right now in the chat. And there's also a feedback form. So welcome to leave all your thoughts in there. So yeah, thank you so much. Wishing you best of weekend. And yes, see you next week.